Do you find yourself like constantly procrastinating or constantly putting things off or constantly telling yourself that you're going to do it tomorrow or the next day? Look, procrastination is something that we all struggle with, okay? But it doesn't have to control your life, okay? In this video, we're going to break down some steps on how you can stop procrastination once and for all. Like, if you really want to be able to achieve those goals that you have set for 2025, you're going to need to do this first. So, if you are somebody that identified with those first couple statements that you are always putting things off to the next day, you're always putting something off to tomorrow, you say you can finish it later, then this video is for you. Okay, so welcome back to the channel. I've been dealing a lot with the whole entrepreneur in these past couple of videos, and I hope they've been really helping you guys to become whole in your entrepreneur journey. But in this video, I really want to just talk some truth. Okay, trust me when I say that I understand how you feel. Even with my crazy work ethic, even with like how consistent I show up, I still deal with procrastination. And I deal with procrastination in areas that like I just don't like to do. Like the things that don't bring me joy, I tend to pass them off. Like I've been there. I know when something feels overwhelmed, you're frustrated by the task, there's a deadline, you don't feel confident in completing the task in your abilities, like nothing can bring yourself to actually starting. And you keep telling yourself you'll do it later. You keep telling yourself you'll get to it later, but later never comes. Like it's the horrible rat race that a lot of entrepreneurs find themselves in. So what's going on? Like, why do we procrastinate? Why does it feel like the simplest task will take us the hardest to start? Is it just laziness? I don't think so. Procrastination is often tied to fear, overwhelm, and over perfectionists. Like I have been to the AA meeting of perfectionists, and I was once a perfectionist, and I had to learn a concept that done is better than perfect, because I'm constantly waiting for perfect. Then I'm going to be waiting for a long time. Right? I'm going to tell you guys right now, the key to overcoming procrastination is not just trying harder. It's not just forcing yourself to work. It's about shifting your mindset and adapting simple strategies and taking action and making action easier, right? It's easy to say, "Oh, just do it. Just be like Nike and do it. Just shut your mouth and do it." Like, "Oh, it's just simple, just do it." But it's really not, right? Because once we just discussed and said that procrastination has nothing to do with work ethic. I just told you guys, like, I have a crazy work ethic, but in the areas to where like I push off things that I don't want to do is in the things that don't bring me joy, and the things that I don't feel confident that I can accomplish, and the things that I'm fearful with actually pushing out there. So when we understand that, then we can understand that there's a real strategy to overcoming that. Okay. Like when I was in school, I used to procrastinate all the time. Big papers, big projects. I had dyslexia, so I struggled a lot in certain subject matters. Okay, I struggled in tests and preparing for tests. I feel like what is the point for me studying for a test when I'm going to show up and I'm not going to be able to pass the test? I didn't even find out I had dyslexia until I was in college. So I suffered with this, not even knowing what this was, not even seeking and gaining the right tools. So I procrastinated a lot, and it showed up in my scores and my test scores. It showed up in my grades, and it had no reflection of my work ethic, because I could work, I can focus, I can study, but I built this habit that followed me into entrepreneurship because I negated from things that I did not feel confident or competent, I guess that's the word that it sounded like was coming out of my mouth, but I did not feel confident in the task, and the stress of the deadlines, it would get to me. It would literally just make me freeze, right? But here is what I realized. Procrastination had nothing to do about laziness. It was about fear of failure. It was the weight of perfectionism. And I suffered with that for so long because I wanted to appear one way, even though on the inside I was suffering. I felt like if I could make myself appear imperfect in everything else, that it would kind of cover my flaws. and make my flaws seem invisible. But for me, it was like the biggest thing ever. It was like somebody had like a big red nose on it. Like everybody could see it. So I had to cover those insecurities with perfectionism, which then caused me to be a little bit more a procrastinator, right? So maybe you can relate. I'm not saying everybody has dyslexia, everybody has a disability, not everybody has a story like I do, but maybe you can find yourself a little bit in that. Maybe you are a perfectionist, right? We all want things to be perfect, but you don't have to start perfectly. So you end up doing nothing because you think that has to be perfect. And I talk to a lot of clients that are perfectionists, and I can understand and feel their pain because I'm the same way. But I always wish that I can show them how much they're delaying their success by trying to create everything perfect. I used to feel like if it wasn't perfect, I wasn't doing it. Like I used to feel like if it wasn't perfectly done, I wasn't putting it out there. Okay. If it wasn't perfectly done, it wasn't worth doing it at all. Like if I couldn't do it right, like why even bother? But here's the first truth I want you to remember. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. And I had to remind myself of this every single day. I had to write it on my big whiteboard. I had to write it on any piece of paper, anytime that I was getting frustrated and I felt that procrastination spirit seep in, that done is better than perfect. I would rather put my business and start my business and work on the imperfections because it's always going to change and evolve anyways. It's always going to change anyway. So instead of worrying about doing something perfectly, just focus on getting it done. Even if it's not 100% right, right? The fact that you're taking action, even imperfect action, will give you momentum. And let me tell you, once you start something, you will find it easier to keep going. Success loves momentum. I cannot say that enough. I don't remember what book I read that out of, but I live by that. Small wins. Celebrate the small wins. It's easier to keep a consistent forward action than to stop, pause, stop, build momentum, stop, pause, build momentum. Okay. So here's the key strategy that really helped me break things down into smaller, manageable tasks. Okay. Even the things that I did not feel confident with. Okay. So, because when I look at a big task, it feels overwhelming. Like, what I have to write this 8-page paper? I hate writing emails. Okay. I would rather shoot 100 YouTube videos than write one email. Why? Because of my previous perfectionism of covering up flaws of my dyslexia. I know that this email is going to have some errors. And I know one of my beautiful, amazing students are going to email me back and say, hey, you meant to put this, but you put this. I'm like, thank you so much. I appreciate you looking out for your girl. Okay. But look, my thumbs up there. But it still makes me feel a little way. Right. It's that inner child that's still having to get over the trauma of that. Right. So when I'm able to break that bigger task down into something smaller, it's a lot easier for me to handle. Like, Jazz, I'm not going to create a whole month long of email. Let me create the email just for today. Let me accomplish that. Okay. And then when I finish that huge project of just one email a day, I'll look back at the whole month. I'm like, oh man, I've been able to send my community 2 emails a week. And we're in great communication. They're responding back and we're building community and they kind of know what's going on. They kind of know what's the upcoming events and workshops and all the things. But if I don't break it down first into smaller steps, then I'm completely overwhelmed. Now, my manager could send me a list and be like, yo, Jasmine, we need you to create 12 YouTube videos today for YouTube for the upcoming month. Can you do that? Yeah, I can do that. It's literally 1:07 in the morning and I'm shooting content. I'm shooting videos because I'm comfortable. I can talk all day long because, even if I make a mistake and mispronounce the word, I'm going to like talk over it, make it funny, and y'all gonna laugh. And I'm just hiding my imperfections, right? So this is what I'm able easily to do. It's not a big task for me. But like, oh, Jasmine, we need you to create, 12 emails for the rest of the month. I'm like, we ain't doing that. Here comes February 28th. Not one email went out. Okay, now somebody be like, hey, can you create the email for tomorrow? Yeah, I can do that. That's doable. Okay. So let's see. So for example, instead of saying, oh wait, no, that was my example. Okay, I'm going off script because like I'm getting my emotions on this, but I needed my key points. I wanted to really make sure that you guys understood this. Okay, so another important strategy is create a routine. Procrastination thrives with no structure. Thrives. When you wake up and you don't know what you're tackling first, it's easy to put off everything. And I'm big with this. I love and thrive off of structure. Like, I am a planner girl. I am a pen and paper girl. I've tried so many times to put my planner and agenda on electronic device. I've purchased writing tablet devices. Like I really want the iPad mini, as if like I think it's going to make a big difference, but in my mind I made myself to believe it. I don't know if it's because I really want it or if I really need it, but I'm like, oh, if I had a mini iPad, clearly that's going to help me to keep more structure, but it's not. I know myself. I'm a pen and paper girl all day. Okay. And I thrive on a schedule. So if I create a schedule and I'm like, okay, I'm up at 5 a.m., I'm studying my word, I'm praying, I'm waking up the kids at 6, making them breakfast, making sure they take a shower, bags packed at the door by 7:15. We're out the house, drop them off at school. I come back home at 9. I'm going for a walk. I'm prepping my day. First client calls at 10, lunch at 1, picking the kids up at 3. Y'all see this routine? Like this is my daily routine, right? They're coming home, 4 o'clock, practice at, like, if I don't have that structure and know what I'm doing, then it's easy just to put everything off. Oh, I don't need to meet with them today. I don't need to meet with my developer today. I don't need to meet with clients today. We can push that off till tomorrow. Right? I thrive off of structure. And when I don't have structure, it's all bad. The whole house is a reflection of my structure and the lack thereof. And allow that to be able to be your mirror. Like, allow that to be a mirror, as into if you have a structure lifestyle, that's going to mirror your level of procrastination, your structure. Okay. So don't just fly by the whim. Now, I know a lot of people just, whatever, we'll do it, whatever. But I'm telling you, once you put a structure in place, and you have to be as strict as my structure. Like, I've been a planner person for decades. Okay. You can just set windows. Okay. Hey, from whatever time you wake up. Okay. So from 9 to 10, I'm writing down my top 3 goals for the day. From 10 to 2, I'm working on each goal per hour, and I'm not going to cross mingle goals. I'm going to focus my time on doing this one, crossing it off, doing this one, crossing it off, doing the next one, crossing it off, right? Then I can take a break or I'm done. Like, however you need to do it. Or if you need to do your first 2 goals and then do the last one at the end of the day, like, have some sort of structure in your day. Whatever the things is that you keep putting off, add that to your day. So that way you're not just pushing it off to the next day. I live by this saying that my dad kind of taught me, was don't ever put off what you can do today for tomorrow. Right. And I've always kind of lived by that mentality. As you guys can say, I live by a lot of my dad's phrases. He is a retired SEAL. So I kind of grew up, I guess, man, it's like coming into full circle. I kind of lived a structured life being a kid as well. So yeah. So, I wasn't born like this. I've been bred it like this for decades on. I don't want to say my whole life, because I wasn't, 3 living by the perfect structure. But but I live by that saying, like, why put off tomorrow what you can do today? So if there's anything that I can do today, like, I'm going to get it done, because because I don't need to put it off tomorrow if I still have time. Sometimes a lot of us complain that we don't have enough time in the day, right? I like, oh, I know I do the same thing, right? Oh my God, I don't have enough time in the day. I got to do all of this stuff. It takes away from this time. But it's not really that I don't have enough time in the day. It really shows for my lack of time management, which shows from my lack of structure. Okay. So going into the next one is just create that routine. Create that routine. I found that when I plan my day ahead of the time, right? And I put aside specific tasks for each time, I'm able to be more productive. It's a scientific fact. It's a scientific fact. Okay. So give yourself the roadmap for your day. You're not going to just drive to Los Angeles. Now, all my Los Angeles folks don't, you're not going to just drive somewhere without putting the GPS in first. You're going to be wandering around. So I found that you procrastinate less when you have time to get things done, when you're properly structuring your time. Right? Isn't that amazing? Next one is remove distractions. Yo, you want to know what the biggest distraction is nowadays, why people have a hard time getting things done? This thing right here, the little happy face. This thing right here is the worst distraction killer ever. And that's why you need to put it on D&D. Wait, do not disturb. D&D. Do not disturb. You need to put it on do not disturb. So that way you're not being distracted with all the alerts from all your social media platforms, your emails, your texts, your calls. Now, if you're in a space where like you absolutely need certain calls or texts, then go ahead and add them to your D&D list so where you can receive those specific texts and calls. But other than that, look here. When you're in your focus hour, put that phone on do not disturb, or you need to put it in another room, or you need to give it to your spouse or your partner. Okay. That way you're not getting caught up scrolling. That is the worst time sucker killer ever. I tell my kids that all the time. So get rid of your distractions. Whatever your distractions are, get rid of them. Social media, your phone, your TV. If you need white noise with your TV, okay. If you need white noise with your music, okay. But you need to make sure that you are focusing on one task at a time and giving that task the full attention. That's the only way you're going to be a much better productive person. Okay. Now, I know I said all of that to say this. Be kind to yourself. Okay. Procrastination is often rooted in guilt. Okay. We beat ourselves up for not putting enough effort into something. Okay. We get caught up in the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Okay. Which just makes things worse. Okay. I had to learn to forgive myself for procrastination. I literally was sick for 2 weeks and I ended up in this guilty place of everything that I had to put off because I was sick. Like, how could I allow myself to do that? Right. And then I got overwhelmed by the emotions that did not allow me to create the structure for the routine to get back on task. And I just kept on putting off the things that I knew I had to do because I was feeling guilty for being off. And I'm like, I was sick. But that was just, that's a me thing. Y'all know I probably got to go see somebody. I got issues. Okay. I got issues. Okay. But I had to learn to forgive myself and just simply focus on what I could do next. Okay. Give yourself credit for taking small steps. I'm not saying overnight you're going to be the ultimate blue star breadwinner, non-procrastinator worker. It takes time. And even the most hardest working person still takes time to overcome procrastination because, like I said, procrastination is not just the act, it's what it's built from, it's what it stems from, which oftentimes is fear and perfection. So don't let your guilt drag you down. Okay? Don't let your guilt drag you down. Forgive yourself. Give yourself some grace. The truth is, we all procrastinate sometimes. Point blank, period. We're all human. But the key is not allowing it to control you. by breaking tasks down, creating a routine, eliminating distractions, and being kind to yourself, you'll find that you can move past procrastination and actually start making progress. Every day, I talk to entrepreneurs in some form or fashion, and everybody struggles with this. Everybody. Some more than others, and that's okay because we're all working on ourselves. We're all on our own path. But the one thing that you can do today to beat procrastination is just break each task down and take care of one thing at a time. Can y'all do that? Can I challenge y'all to do that? Can I challenge y'all to do that? For those that's trying to build a business, for those that's trying to build your cleaning business, and you're maybe a part of the CEO Clean Academy, and you guys are watching the videos and the courses and the trainings, and you see the roadmaps and everything you have to do to launch your business, and you're like, yo, Jazz, I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed. I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what to do. Write everything down and break it down into small tasks and take care of one thing at a time. Okay. If you guys found this video helpful, and I really hope it does from years to come, I want you guys to click the like button. I want you to subscribe to this channel for more advice, tips on entrepreneur. And I want you guys to share this with somebody. Share this with an entrepreneur that's currently in the process of building something, scaling something, that has a big dream, has a big vision, and they may need to hear this reminder. One of these points may need to touch them. So do that. And if this video was helpful for you, let me know in the comments. Let me know, like, yo, Jazz, you kind of hit me on one of them points there. Like, I have to admit that you're kind of right. I kind of deal with some of those too. I'm working on overcoming that. Let me know. Let's have a discussion about this, because you're not in this alone. Like, let's take action. And sometimes it's okay to be truthful with yourself. Self-awareness is one of the most powerful things that we possess, when we can be aware of our own actions, so that way we can address them head on. We can make an action plan and overcome them, because it's not just good enough to be aware of our shortcomings. Like, we actually have to put an action towards them to overcome that. And that's what I want you to do. Don't let procrastination steal your dream. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. See y'all in the next video. Bye, y'all.